Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the work of Brené Brown. We're pulling together insights from a great reader guide and a book summary focused on her foundational book, The Gifts of Imperfection.
hmm And our mission for you today, it's actually pretty straightforward, but, deep. We want to help you quickly grasp what she means by wholehearted living.
Right.
And crucially, those practical steps, the strategies that help build worthiness.
And worthiness, it's not something you earn, is it?
No, exactly. That's the key. It's the conviction, like deep down, that you're good enough, just as you are, flaws included.
Yeah.
And that you deserve love and belonging, period.
Okay, let's pause there because, the sources really push back on something we hear a lot. Self-awareness is good, knowing yourself.
Sure, that's important.
But Brown argues self-love is, even more vital for this wholehearted life. What's the difference there? Why does self-love come out on top?
That's such a great question, and I think it's a distinction we often gloss over. Self-awareness, you could say, it helps you read the map of your inner world. Okay. But self-love, that's accepting the map, accepting the terrain exactly as it is, without demanding changes. It gets rid of all those conditions we put on ourselves.
Like the I'll be worthy when.
Exactly. When I get the promotion, when I lose the weight, when I find the partner. Self-love says you don't have to wait. You're worthy right now.
So if that's the goal, that kind of unconditional self-acceptance, that worthiness, what's the biggest thing trying to, sabotage it? What gets in the way?
Oh, the sources are really clear on this. The number one barrier is shame.
Shame, not guilt, right? There's a difference.
Big difference, yeah. Guilt is, I did something bad. Shame spirals into, I am bad. It's that awful core feeling that you just don't deserve love, that you'll never measure up. It's completely toxic to worthiness. They just can't coexist.
Okay, so if shame is that powerful, you can't just ignore it. The strategy is developing shame resilience. What does that actually look like? Is it just getting tougher skin?
Yeah. Not at all, actually. It's not about hardening yourself. Resilience here means, first, recognizing shame when it shows up. That feeling, that hot flush of, oh God, I'm exposed.
Yeah.
Recognizing that as shame, and then crucially, moving through it in a way that protects your sense of worth. And the main way to do that, well, it feels risky.
How so?
You have to practice courage, you have to be vulnerable, you have to reach out.
Okay, but the reader guide was super specific about this, and it feels really important. You don't just spill your guts to anyone.
No way. Absolutely not.
You share your shame story only with someone who has truly earned the right to hear it, someone who will meet it with compassion.
Yes. That earn the right part is non-negotiable. Think about it sharing your deepest vulnerability with someone who reacts badly, with judgment or dismissal, or they use it later.
Oh, that would be devastating.
It just makes the shame worse.
Yeah.
The sources even say that wrong person is like one more piece of lying debris in an already dangerous storm. You need someone solid, someone who meets vulnerability with empathy, full stop.
That really changes how you think about trust, doesn't it? It's not the reward for vulnerability, it's like the entry requirement.
Exactly. Well put.
So what about when you're in that storm? When you're just feeling totally drained, overwhelmed? Is there a tool? The sources mention something called dig deep.
Yeah, the dig deep approach. It's what wholehearted people apparently use when they're exhausted. It's a mnemonic. D is for being deliberate.
Deliberate. How?
Deliberate in your thoughts, your actions, like pausing instead of reacting. Maybe prayer, meditation, setting clear intentions, just grounding yourself.
Okay. D
is for getting inspired to make different choices. It's about breaking that automatic negative pattern.
Got it. Inspired.
And G is for going, taking action, not flailing, but taking intentional steps forward. It's choosing action over panic, really.
DIG. Deliberate, inspired, going. Okay. That helps move from defense to actually building something positive, which brings us to what the sources call the 3 gifts of imperfection.
Right. These are the core values that really cultivate worthiness.
Yeah.
And like we said, they all stem from being willing to be vulnerable, to be imperfect.
So what are they?
They are courage, compassion, and connection.
Let's take the first one. Courage. But it's not like superhero courage.
No. She calls it ordinary courage. Yeah. It's about putting your vulnerability out there in just, normal life.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, like setting a boundary with your mom, even though it's uncomfortable. Or admitting at work you don't know something and need help. Or just telling someone how you actually feel instead of defaulting to, I'm fine.
Right. The small, hard things.
Exactly. And the sources emphasize this has a ripple effect. Every time you choose that ordinary courage, you kind of make the world around you a tiny bit safer for someone else to be brave too.
That's powerful. Okay, second gift. Compassion. Defined as kindness to yourself and then to others. Why does self-kindness have to be first?
Well, think about it. If you're constantly beating yourself up internally, criticizing every flaw, how much genuine kindness can you really offer someone else when they mess up?
Not much, probably.
Right, you run out. The sources talk about needing to build a reservoir of compassion within yourself first. If you can be kind to your own imperfections, you suddenly have so much more capacity to be kind to others. Self-compassion fuels empathy.
Makes sense. And the third gift, connection. Described as a fundamental human need like air or water.
Absolutely irreducible. It's that energy, that feeling when you're with people and you feel genuinely seen, heard, and valued, and importantly, where you can give and receive without feeling judged.
That feeling, it's what everyone wants, but often we go about getting it the wrong way. This links to that struggle you mentioned earlier, belonging versus fitting in.
Huge distinction, and a really common trap.
So what's the real difference? They sound similar.
On the surface, maybe, but fitting in, that comes from insecurity. It's about changing who you are, your opinions, how you dress, what you say, just to be accepted by a group.
Like trying to squeeze into a mold.
Exactly. You're trying to earn your place by being what you think they want. And the sources are clear. It never truly satisfies that deep need for connection. It often leaves you feeling kind of empty or fake.
Okay, so what's real belonging then?
Belonging is different. It only happens when you show up as your most authentic self, your real self. Quirks, struggles, imperfections, all of it. And you're accepted for that reality, not in spite of it.
Wow. It takes that ordinary courage we were talking
It
about.
takes huge courage. It requires vulnerability from everyone involved. It's basically saying, here I am, and having that met with acceptance.
Okay, that really sets the stage for the practical stuff, the strategies for actually living this way. Let's start with boundaries and authenticity. The sources talk about letting go of needing to please everyone, needing to perform, needing to be perfect.
And boundaries are key to that. Brown is really direct about people-pleasing. When you say yes, but your whole body is screaming, no.
Do that all the time.
We all do. But doing that consistently, it's like a betrayal of yourself. And it almost always leads to resentment down the line, right? Mad at them, mad at yourself.
Totally. The pissed off later phenomenon.
Exactly. So setting boundaries is about honoring your own needs. And authenticity often means choosing being real over being liked, which is,
Hard.
really hard. It feels unsafe sometimes.
It is unsafe,
Yeah.
or it feels that way. And one big reason we choose pleasing or fitting in is because we're caught in the trap of perfectionism.
Perfectionism, which Brown defines differently too, right? It's not about like healthy striving.
Not at all. Healthy striving is about reaching for your best. Perfectionism, in her view, is totally different. It's a defense mechanism. It's all about trying to control other people's perceptions of you.
How so?
It's driven by the fear of shame and judgment. The thinking goes, if I look perfect, live perfect, work perfect, then no one can criticize me, no one can reject me. It's heavy armor.
Wow. Okay. And that armor gets constantly banged up by what the sources call the comparison mandate. Oh, yeah. That's the crazy-making paradox of modern life, isn't it? The message is everywhere. Fit in and stand out.
Right. Be like everyone else, but somehow better.
Exactly. Be thinner, richer, happier, more successful, have perfect kids, perfect house. It's relentless. Social media, advertising, it all feeds this impossible standard.
And guarantees we feel like we're failing.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Which fuels the perfectionism, which fuels the shame. It's a vicious cycle.
So when we're drowning in that comparison and shame, what's the go-to coping mechanism? We try to shut it down. We numb.
Yep. Numbing. It's incredibly common because, well, it offers temporary relief. And it doesn't always look like what we traditionally think of as addiction.
What else can it look like?
Oh, lots of things. Chronic busyness, working 60-plus hours a week, constantly chasing the next goal. Even perfectionism itself can be a numbing strategy, just like overeating, overspending, drinking too much.
So the goal is the same, just different methods.
Basically, yeah. The goal of numbing is to avoid feeling the uncomfortable stuff, the vulnerability, the fear, the shame. But in doing that, it also cuts us off from feeling joy, from being emotionally honest, setting those needed boundaries, and truly connecting.
Okay, so if we manage to stop numbing, to step away from that constant pressure, we actually make space for things like joy. That leads us to the last section, fostering happiness. And the sources say it starts kind of weirdly, with stillness and play.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive in our hyperproductive world, right? But the argument is we desperately need more time to just do less and be less.
Why?
Because that constant chase for happiness through achievements, through buying things, through being busy,
Yeah.
it just keeps us exhausted and ironically afraid to slow down and actually feel joy.
Yeah.
Stillness, whether it's meditation, quiet time, prayer, just sitting, it's almost an act of defiance.
And play.
Play too. And once we create that space, that quiet, we're encouraged towards joyful expression. And this means letting go of needing to be cool or always in control.
Ah, the cool factor.
It's a killer of joy. The sources say when we prioritize looking composed and in control over, just letting ourselves be passionate or silly or heartfelt or soulful, we actually betray ourselves.
Wow. That's strong language.
It is, because holding back that authentic expression hinders connection too. We need to consciously make room for laughter, for singing off key, for dancing badly, for whatever feels genuinely expressive and uninhibited.
I love that. Okay, finally, to kind of protect this wholehearted path in the middle of, well, everything, the source is stress, practicing critical awareness, especially with media.
And absolutely vital today. We are flooded with images and messages. To protect our worthiness, we need to pause and ask some hard questions when we see things.
Like what?
3 key questions.
Okay.
First, is what I'm seeing real? Like really real? Or is this a heavily curated, possibly photoshopped fantasy version of life?
Good question. Okay, second.
Second, do these images reflect healthy, wholehearted living? Or are they actually turning life, my body, my family, relationships into objects, into things to be measured and compared, commodities basically?
Okay. Realness, healthiness, and third.
And the big one, who benefits if I see these images and end up feeling bad about myself?
Ooh. Follow the money or the influence.
Exactly. Answering those 3 questions honestly, that's a powerful way to build resilience against that comparison mandate we talked about. It helps you push back.
Okay. We have covered so much ground, from understanding shame and building resilience
Through reaching out carefully.
to embracing those 3 gifts: courage, compassion, connection that come from vulnerability.
Right. Understanding belonging versus fitting in.
And then getting practical with boundaries, authenticity, tackling perfectionism, and numbing.
And finally, making space for stillness, play, and real joy while staying critically aware.
It's quite a journey.
It really is. The whole shift is away from trying to prove you're worthy toward the radical acceptance of just being worthy. And it all comes back to vulnerability. That's where the good stuff, the courage, the compassion, the connection, that's where it's born.
Yeah. And there's a quote from the source material that just sums this up so perfectly. I want to share it with you. Owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we will ever do. Owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. Embracing our vulnerabilities is risky, but not nearly as dangerous as giving up on love and belonging and joy, the experiences that make us the most vulnerable.
That says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This whole deep dive really hinges on that idea. You have to be brave enough to look at the messy, imperfect parts, the darkness, if you will, to really find the power of your own light.
So maybe the thought to leave you with is this: how can you practice just one small act of ordinary courage this week? Nothing huge, just one moment of being authentic, maybe setting a small boundary. And perhaps think about who in your life has truly earned the right to hear just a little piece of your story.